Hello, welcome back to this mini-series looking at percentages, and today we're going to be looking at an example involving VAT. So VAT is a tax called value added tax that is placed on the sales of many items, and for most cases in the UK it's charged at 20%. There are variations on that, so home electricity is charged at 5%, and there are some goods which are excluded from VAT. Now, what we're going to look at today is part of the VAT system. So if you were a small shop owner, for example, and you went to a wholesaler, say Macros or Brooker or one of these style wholesalers, and you bought stock for your shop there, let's say it's a sweet shop, I'm not sure if VAT is charged on sweet, but I think it is. You might go in there and buy, say, a box of sweets that you then sell. So when you go into the wholesaler, you will buy it and VAT has been included on it. So let's say you bought that box of sweets for £20. So this is your purchase price. Now this value actually includes some VAT on it because the wholesaler is charged VAT on their sales. But what happens in the UK VAT system is that the purchaser, or you, would then claim that VAT that the wholesaler has paid back. So you claim that money back off the government. You then set the price which you want to sell your goods at, or your new box of sweets in your own shop, which will be at a higher rate than what you paid for it because you want to make a profit, and then you calculate your VAT from that price. So let's say you had this £20 purchase. So if you do go into wholesaler, what they'll show you is two prices, the price including VAT and the price without VAT. And they'll also give you what's called a VAT receipt, which will show you the two different prices. But let's say they didn't show you that price, or you've forgotten it, and you've lost your VAT receipt, and you wanted to work out how much you wanted to claim back from the government. So VAT has been charged at 20% of this. However, if you look back at the previous video, you can't just take 20% off this and claim that back from the government, because the original price to the wholesaler has been increased by 20%, but that's not the same decrease back. So we have to work it out. So what has happened? We've got some value of the good, which is X, and that's what we're trying to find. And we know the price of the good, of the purchase. So you've paid £20 for it, and I'm going to swap pens to green pens, that one's running out. So let's say you've paid your £20. What this value is actually made up of is the actual price of the good that the wholesaler paid, which is what you want to find out, which we'll call X. And what this has happened to this is that 20% of this value X has been found and then been added to the price of this to get to this £20. So what we can write this down as is 1 plus 20%, and we're going to write this as the fraction. So this is the equation we need to solve. But we can also write this as X. So 20 divided by 100 is 0.2, added that to 1, so this is X times 1.2. We can now find the value of X. So this is 20 divided by 1.2, and I'm going to reach for the calculator for this. So you've got 20 divided by 1.2 is 16.67 pounds. So if we now take the £20 that you've that you paid for your purchase, and you take away the £16.77, what we end up is £3.33, which was the VAT. So you would now claim that back from the government. Now, let's say you wanted to sell the object, the price of this back, and you wanted to sell it at £21, or actually let's make it £25. I will make it a bit simpler. So let's say you sold it at 20. You wanted to sell it at £25. You then add the VAT onto it. So you sell it for £25. You add your VAT on. So 20% of 25 is the same as a fifth of 25, which is another £5. So you'd actually have to sell it for £30 in order to make that £25. So this is how your VAT system works, and we're calculating, being able to find your amount that you're paid for the original price, claim the VAT back, and then add your own VAT, depending on your own amount you want to make as profit, works. So this is a real life example and comes in very useful. It's also you may also use the same technique if you were calculating your take-home pay, if you've got your, if you know what pay your company is paying you, but then you pay government taxes such as income tax, which if you're a lower rate taxpayer is 20%, if you're higher rate it's at 40%, and I think you have a top rate then of 45%, but that's on different quantities depending on how much you earn. But it's the same maths involved. So this is a useful example for anybody who's going into business.